Show Recap Podcast. I'm TyJon Charlie. I'm going to be talking about my shows this last weekend, which, I don't have as much catch-up time to do as I had, because I had a lot of shows last time to talk about. I think that was like an hour of me just rambling on about all the shows. So this week, I had Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I had Friday, I was at Gill Street here in Bloomington. Saturday, I played at the Quarry Ballroom. I'm not sure how to say it exactly, but the Quarry Ballroom. And then Sunday, I played at Ollie Ann's in Dwight. So 3 shows, pretty standard as of lately, which is great. I have at least 3 shows a weekend. This next coming Sunday is my first Sunday off in over a month. So, the shows have been rolling in, which has been very nice, but also very busy and a little bit stressful, but that's just how it goes. This Sunday I'm going to be working on my Digital Soul music video, so hopefully that'll be out, coming pretty soon. Hoping to do everything with the AI. That's been my whole goal since the song Digital Soul is all about kind of dealing with this new digital age we're in, and not knowing what exactly is real. The album art was made through AI digitally. I just gave it like the Digital Soul prompt, and then the video you used for the lyric video that I just released this week was actually an AI interpretation of the AI created art. So now I'm hoping to use some of the same stuff to create AI video, because I just feel like it's pretty appropriate for the just overall concept of the song, being about the digital age and how wild everything is nowadays. So yeah, that's gonna be hopefully done on Sunday. I'll edit it maybe this next week, and then that'll be out. And that's I've been trying to promote the song pretty hard with some other stuff, little podcast clips and little live performance clips of it. I'm hoping to do a full acoustic version, but I do have a couple acoustic versions out there already. I have the Pandemic Relief, which you can watch an acoustic version, and that's just broken down kind of with this mic here for my Pandemic Relief project that I was doing, the vinyl live album that I released. So that it is on there, and then I have a one-man band version of it live on the State and Water, but hoping to get another one just to kind of commemorate the release with kind of a more current take on it. But we'll see what happens. Everything's a little bit of a roll of the dice, and you never really know what you're gonna get to, but it's on the list of things I need to do. In other news, I've been working on my song Wings in the studio, which I got a little bit more studio time set up in late July for that. And then I just wrote a brand new song. I'm not sure on the title of it yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be trying to get that recorded in the next couple weeks. And I'm really trying to do like a fast turnaround with this one, just to, be different kind of. A lot of my songs I end up and I play out forever, years sometimes, and then I go to record them and they're pretty sussed out. I would say Wings maybe not as much, but I still played that out for maybe 6 months or so before I got in the studio. There is a live version of that one out, but it's pretty fresh in that video. But anyhow, so it's just kind of a different way of rolling with it, and trying to keep the releases consistent. Every 3 months is what I'm shooting for, just one song. So hoping to get this one all knocked out, at least the recording part, a week from Monday, and then as it goes, I'll probably be back in the studio with mixing and editing some stuff, but trying to be on the latter half of my goal, which is to do a full album, which is actually a double EP, which is about 5 or 6 tracks on each side. And the second one will be the reel. It's called The Lock and the Reel. The Lock is all the big studio mixes, kind of big epic sound, and the reel is kind of just a more raw, broken down version of, the songs are just naturally a little bit more broken down. So my last song, Will Magic Find Me, obviously is going to go on that one, and then this one that I'm about to record this coming Monday will also go on that one. Wolf was telling me he thought that maybe it should be called The Premonition Man or The Premonition or Premonitions. I don't know. Those all seem to like they would work. I'm just not sold on the title quite yet, but I'm gonna keep thinking about it. But I'll have to, if I'm gonna release it soon, I'm gonna have to make that happen. But anyhow, I'm pretty excited about it. It's definitely a weird one for me, just in the fact that I recorded it on one of my guitars that I have tuned down to C sharp. It's in standard, but C sharp is the lowest note. So almost down to that baritone guitar range, about a whole step away from that. So it has such a pretty unique sound. I'm gonna have it right here. I can kind of just show you the, kind of a meaner, darker sound. Almost has and this has flat wound strings on it too. Just like a different vibe. And this song that I'm working on, it's kind of an interesting thing I'm doing with it for me, because I wrote it with the intention to be able to play it on that guitar to get that kind of cool low end sound, but I also wrote it with the intention to be able to play it on just a regular acoustic guitar. So I could, if I end up and want to play it out live, it wouldn't be a hard transition. So I'm kind of I wrote it with the two separate kind of parallel ways of thinking for the guitar, and the ease of not having to bring a whole extra guitar that's tuned differently just for one song, or tune all the way down for and that going all the way down to C sharp would just be obnoxious on a regular guitar. So, and this guitar is kind of interesting because it's one that I saved from the garbage that, the bridge was coming off completely. So, I gave a crack at it to see if the bridge would stay, but, and this was just like a customer back when I worked at the music, or Kidder Music, was gonna, just throw it away, essentially. I told him how much I would charge to fix it, and gave him the idea that there is a chance that it is unfixable, and they just didn't want anything to do with it. So they were just like, yeah, you can just throw it in the garbage. So I was like, well, I'll still try to fix it, and I re-glued the bridge, and it kind of stayed. And it's just like an old kind of shitty guitar, and because of that, I like it for like the experimental side of writing, recording. Like, I've had these flat wound strings on them, which are 12s that are electric strings, and it has a pretty unique sound, and I kind of want to capture that with this song if possible. But anyway, excited about that. Just something new to be kind of working towards. I got the song Wings, the big studio production of Wings, kind of on the back burner, in the back of my mind, still working on that quite a bit. And then I'll have this one. This one will be the next release, and then Wings would be the following. So kind of trying to alternate the kind of more lo-fi sound, grungy sound, simple sound with the big studio sound. So anyway, and I'm trying this new song. I'm trying at Bomb Site Studios, which isn't too far from my place, and new studio in town. So I'm excited to see how that goes. The guy that runs it, Dave, seems pretty cool. So I'm excited to work with him. But anyhow, all right, let's get into the shows. So Friday at Gill Street in town. I think I'd pretty much played the show enough times to know what to expect, and it's always it's a hometown show. When I was young, I would see other bands play there, and I'd be like, oh, I gotta get in over there. That's like a legit place to play. And this happens so much when you're a musician, is like you think that you have to get in these certain places, or you have to other contemporary musicians are playing at certain spots, and you're like, I gotta get in there. And then you get in there, and it's just like, just another place, nothing that exciting. With this one, it's kind of that way, and I know that, like, people don't really pay attention out there. It's not like a very focused on me show, which, there's positives and negatives too. It's just a different vibe. I can kind of mess around a little bit extra and try some weirder things that maybe I wouldn't, or just play what I feel like playing instead of, trying to completely appease the crowd. But part of me always struggles with that, because even if I know it's a show where people are like not totally going to be engaged, I want to try to win them over, so I do end up sometimes, and I go down that path. But I had a couple of friends of mine, well, actually the bass player in the Input Architects, Kevin Lyons, and his wife Kendall came to just hang out and watch, and that really made my night, made all the difference, just having a couple people there that were listening and into it. And it was just like a pleasant surprise, because I didn't expect them. And then it was like, okay, well, I'll just play whatever they want to hear, maybe some stuff I want to actually show them that I've been working on. And I sounded pretty good, I think, ultimately. I've been using my in-ears. I've just been keeping one in on the left and then my JBL on the right for my monitor, or vice versa, either or. And that's been working pretty well. I think I've got and I just have the vocal in that in-ear monitor, so it's just like I get a little bit extra on the vocal, and I think that always makes all the difference as far as how you can kind of dial the pitch in and stuff. And I do think that there is a little bit of weirdness that comes with that sometimes, because if it starts to just shimmy out just a little bit and you don't notice that it's out a little bit, and all of a sudden you're like, why am I struggling to hear myself? And then you just do one of those where you push it, and then it's like, oh, that was why. So that does happen, but for the most part, I do think it's nice that you don't need a floor monitor, because that just creates extra noise. So taking away the monitors that produce, or speakers that produce loud noise, stage noise, I do think makes for a cleaner mix ultimately. So when I have the in-ears, I don't have any of that, so it's just like a cleaner overall sound. But anyway, so I don't know, that's what I've been doing, but I'm sure that'll change 8 times before I get into the winter time here, because that's just how it goes. But I have been enjoying doing it that way. But yeah, so Kevin and Kendall showed up, and I was kind of caught off guard in a good way by that, and then ended up kind of just playing what I felt all night. They requested a few extra weird tunes that I probably wouldn't have normally done, and got to hang out with them after. I mean, it was just a good night. I was it wasn't like nobody else was paying attention the whole night, but wasn't super focused, and there were people that were kind of in and out, and there were some generous people that were saying nice things, doing nice things throughout the night. But it's just a different kind of show ultimately than the very focused, which is kind of you get the juxtaposition, because on Saturday I played at a very music forward bar, live music forward, because I think the bar owner was maybe a musician, so a little bit more dialed into, I mean, they had 2 different full stage PAs. They had one outside, one inside. I ended up playing inside, and it was an actual stage, and they had I thought it was kind of cool, they had a visualizer on the like in the stage on the back, on a projector. That's what I'm trying to say. So a lot of places I play would end up and have maybe like sports on the projector, or like even sometimes like just random TV shows, which I don't know that they would put that on the stage. Maybe they just turn the projector off. But the fact that they were just trying to enhance the live music, I felt was very cool. And that was the Quarry Ballroom, and this is in Thornton, Illinois, so about 2-hour drive. And it was an interesting night. It was like a different sound setup for me, because I was using their PA, which is always a little, but they had a pretty straightforward system, so wasn't too bad. And then I got started on time, but I was really only playing for like one guy for the whole first set. And then people finally started to kind of show up, because it was like a 7 to 10 spot. People started to kind of show up around 8. Not very many, but at least kind of filter in. And then by 9, it probably doubled. And then by like 9:30, it probably doubled again. So I was supposed to be done at 10. And the guy that, one of the owners, I think, he asked if I would do an extra hour. And since there were people there, of course, I was happy to do it. I always feel like I even on Friday at Gill Street, it was like, you get to that 3-hour mark, and I feel like I missed. Like there was a bunch of stuff I wanted to maybe try or do in the set, or hit some of those main kind of my killer cover kind of area to try to get the audience engaged. So I missed out on some of those with the 3 hours, so I had plenty left, is what I'm trying to say, and I ended up playing that 4th hour. It was kind of cool too, in the interim between the regular set and the extra hour, the owner took me and a group of people down to they have a little speakeasy down there that was pretty neat. It's like you go through this old basement, and then you walk into this, there's like a weird door that you walk into, and then it's like this classy little hidden bar, kind of old-timey feel. And there was one, he had a replica of like an old Tommy gun, which I thought was kind of cool. Never seen that in real life before. But anyway, and the overall show, I don't think I sounded maybe my best, but it wasn't bad. And people were engaging, and that was exciting for me. They were into what I was doing for sure. And it was just a good night all around. Good people up there, good little spot. That's, like I said, live music forward, and that's as from a musician perspective, obviously very beneficial. And then so Sunday I played at Ollie Ann's in Dwight, and it's kind of a weird one, because they just needed somebody, because I'm playing there this Friday, which is tomorrow, but they had something happen where they were out a couple musicians for Saturday and Sunday, and I had the Sunday open, so I was like, but made sure they know that I'm also there on Friday. But anyway, so another show. It was kind of a weird set Sunday night. It was like 5 to 9. That was the time, and it's around the 4th, so I guess maybe I thought that there'd be people out, but there really wasn't for the whole first maybe 45 minutes. And then it was like it got kind of busy, like slowly filtered in. And then kind of the most exciting for me part was one of my best friends, Trevor, his wife Brenda, they randomly showed up. Now, this is kind of crazy because they live in Dallas, and they didn't mention they would be home, so, or I guess they'd be Trevor's home, not her home, but in the area, I should say. And so they just kind of walked in and caught me completely off guard, and it was just such a nice surprise. I mean, I talk to Trevor at least once a month, usually once every couple months, and I've went down there for his wedding a few years back and played some shows, and but it was just like extra cool because, well, a couple things. I thought, as I was going to this show, I thought, okay, it's last minute, it's Sunday evening, it's kind of rainy out. I doubt very many people are gonna show up. So I was like, I'm gonna do, kind of my simple, small setup, just kind of feel the place out, and I'll do maybe the big one on the Friday. And then, something in me was like, don't do that. Like, do the full thing. And then I was really happy. My brother and his wife, Emily, showed up. And so that was, started the show out cool, just like, it wasn't many other people there. And it was Ryan and Emily came, and they had dinner, and it was cool that they had some time away from the kids, and they chose to spend it listening and watching me. So So yeah, that was really cool as well. So that, that would have been enough. And then, Trevor and Brenda walk in and just kind of totally like caught me off guard. And I was sounding good. That was the thing. It's like I was doing my bigger setup, and I feel like it was, everything was hitting just right. So because of that, like, it made it even extra cool, because, you can't control everything all the time. And sometimes people show up to shows where there's things that are going wrong, where it's like, you don't feel that good, To them, they probably don't totally notice, or, don't really make a mental note. But it's like, I want, friends, family, my brother and Emily come out. I want them to see me at my best. I want to show them what I've been working on lately. And, this new setup is different. It's bigger. I just keep adding things. And so that makes it exciting to, I felt expressed. Like, this is kind of, it wasn't perfect, but I mean, it never is. So it was good though. It was upper echelon performance with my big setup, and I feel like my vocals sounded decent. And to have them see me in that kind of light, gives you a little extra pop. I was great, and it would have been fine if it was an average night. But the fact that I felt pretty solid just added that extra exclamation point, that Ryan and Emily, my brother and his wife, and Trevor and Brenda showed up. And some of their family was there too, on top of that, that they brought, which was very nice of them to get everybody out. And it was just a busy night, and I felt really solid. So, I mean, that was the kind of the icing on the cake of the weekend, because I had already had a good weekend since Kev and Kendall had come out on Friday. And I was like, well, that's a win, because I don't really see them very often and stuff. And then the fact that Sunday was, very similar, but even crazier as far as, not seeing Trev and Brenda for, probably a year at this point, at least, in person. And then them just kind of showing up. And I mean, I think part of it was they didn't know for sure they were going to make it, so they didn't want to mention it and be like, yeah, we can't come, this came up. So, it was just an extra oomph. Definitely got me a little extra pumped about playing. And I had trouble, taking breaks. It's always a weird double-edged sword when your friends come to the show, because it's like you want to just hang out with them, but you also want to show them what you've been working on. So it's like, it's either one or the other, I guess not totally, but yeah, for me, it's like, I struggle with, like, I want to show 20 different songs and this new setup I'm doing that, they've probably never heard me do, or, just that. So it's like, I don't really get a chance to hang out, but I'm excited that they're there and they can hang out. But it's also like, I would, like to hang out at maybe not a show setting, because, it's like I'm working kind of, I don't know how to, I can make the choice to probably take longer breaks, but I don't usually. I'm usually excited for them to hear me. So anyway, it was very cool, and I had a very good weekend. And yeah, that's pretty much what's been going on. I appreciate anybody who takes the time to listen, and I will talk to you next time. All right, have a good one. Bye.